Hey, get over here.
We had that one special night together.
Bringing down the house.
Bedazzled to bedraggled, runes to riches.
Is this a passel, or is it just a bunch of fucking pigs?
The giants respect size.
The bane of every wizard. Strength tests.
What Red said is right.
That's what dwarves do.
Tell me more about this dick.
You.
If we're gonna die together, what's your name?
Grudd Haug.
All right, Grudd Haug. Let's do this.
Welcome back to Dice Shame, episode 40, Like a Stuck Pig.
MVP this week is Ginger Owl Mom on Twitter for leaving us a wonderful review. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you love our show, you may be happy to find out that we have another, some would say, parent show called the Invictus Stream. Our friend and colleague Aisha Lyle has painstakingly and lovingly converted almost every episode of our live show into a podcast format just like this. So if you're missing your Dice Shame fix, make sure to check out the Invictus Stream podcast anywhere you would find podcasts, including Spotify and iTunes. The games there are endless.
Apocalypse World, Call of Cthulhu, Star Wars.
To name a few only, including my favorite Nigerian Prince email scam. The list goes on and on, so check it out.
It's not to be missed.
Are we ready to do this?
Let's roll.
I want to shame more die. The problem is I pick die that I like too much, aka die that are typically red. It's almost like I like red.
What?
And I don't want to lose them. So now I've picked die that I don't really, care that much about because I want to shame more.
Right.
I want to shame more die.
And you need to give them a chance, Give more dice a chance.
I'm the opposite. Well, yeah, I want to give more dice a chance. I don't want to give more chances to dice.
Give dice a chance.
I was just about to do that.
Brilliant minds.
All we are
I want to let everyone know that I have begun using this gorgeous, transparent, bright green set. They look like little emeralds. I haven't named any of my dice yet. We'll see how they do for me tonight.
Very good.
So you stand at the mouth of this huge underground cavern. The walls of this filthy, dark room are made of packed mud with logs jutting out of them at odd angles. Parts of the river are seeping through the wall here. The openings in the wall aren't so big that you would have been able to slip through them like you were initially thinking.
Told you.
Okay. Dora's like, all right, fine.
The water coming in through the wall does form these rivulets, and there's actually kind of a sizable river running through this room, north to south. You're standing right now on the northeast corner of the room, I guess. It's kind of roughly rhomboid shaped.
Rhomboid.
Those are the things that clean your floor, right?
Can you break that down for those of us who aren't geography?
Let's go back to grade 10
Geometrists.
geometry.
Are there any exits from this room?
There are, yes. There's an exit to the southeast, so just down the eastern wall from you. It looks like there's a huge set of double doors, wooden. And then there are a couple of tunnels leading out from this big underground cavern. There are two to the north and one to the west, a larger one to the west. And then I should also let you know that there are holes in the ceiling, really big holes. I think they're 20 feet in diameter, and they're crisscrossing wooden beams covering these holes. You think that you would be able to slip through the holes in between the wooden beams because, they're meant to prevent the passage of a large creature, and you guys are small enough that you could kind of get through the beams.
Are these to feed the pigs? Is that what that is? Is that like shoveling stuff down there?
Roll a nature check for me, Doran.
I would love to. Why, thank you. In fact, I think today I'm going to start using this new dye.
Ooh, what color is it?
It's
Show us.
orange with yellow, and I'm going to name him... last episode, or maybe it was 2 episodes ago, I used Roly Poly Oly as just a side comment. But I'm going to name this Roly Poly Oly, just like the old show. I can't Roly Poly Oly.
That's a show.
And it's going to be after Adam.
It is now.
Adam Frey, the old wise one. So Adam,
Very close.
Great old one.
the old wise one, Adam Frey.
great old one.
I'll just name it Roly Poly so that we're not copywriting anything.
Great old
Roly Poly.
Roly Poly.
The great wise old one.
The great wise old great one.
Who's wise
Very great. It's so great.
and great.
And so I've rolled
And wise.
with Roly Poly.
What'd you get?
What was I rolling again? Nature, okay. Oh, it's an 8. Straight up
Nice.
8.
Well, that was worth all the buildup.
yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, you think that they could probably shovel some slop through these holes. Why
Yeah?
not?
Okay.
So do you think they just eat so messy up above and then they shovel it down for the pigs to eat?
I mean, it's weird because you can see clearly some troughs like scattered throughout this big cavern, and they're not directly underneath any of these holes, but maybe they throw food down.
Okay.
Who knows?
Are there any chains or like some sort of lever mechanism that's going up into these holes?
Nope, there's nothing dangling down from the holes.
Okay.
You can see, so there's some shafts of light from the upstairs room sort of illuminating this like dank, gross pig pen, I guess.
Pig cavern.
And you can see like there are shapes moving above, and you can hear like the sound of heavy footsteps from the ceiling above you. So there are clearly people walking around upstairs.
Interesting.
Couple more details about this room. So it's dimly lit by torches as well. And there are some bugbears moving in and around this herd of pigs. Is it a herd of pigs?
A horde.
Pen.
Murder of pigs.
The
I'm
horde.
going to
of
search
pigs.
that because I think there is a name for it.
A pod.
The swine pod.
The pod of pig.
Piggy potty.
Additionally, there's an Etten walking around here.
Ooh.
You also previously encountered an Etten in the Crypt Garden forest. This is a two-headed giant creature.
The Etten was the one we tore the heart out of. And
Oh,
yeah,
We
yeah, you
destroyed
fed
it.
it
Oh.
too.
I know the feel of that thing's heart.
Well, I hate to tell you guys, but this is so complicated. A group of hogs is called a passel or a team. A group of swine is called a sounder, and a group of boars is called a singular. So, like,
Wow.
is this a passel, a team, a sounder, or a singular, or is it just a bunch of fucking pigs?
It's a bunch of fucking pigs.
Yeah.
That's right.
There's
Okay.
20 boars, 20 hogs, and 20...
Simplify it.
How tall was the roof again, Joe? Just to,
Great question. The ceiling is 30 feet above your head.
So I can't jump it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, there are some timber pillars that are caked in mud that support the 30-foot high ceiling.
All right, team. Let's hang back. And I back up a little bit because we're obviously in the viewing area of this, and I just want to have a quick powwow.
But you're super stealthy because you guys are still under
That's right.
the effects of Pass Without Trace, right?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
obviously it's not going to silence all of your words, but you're going to have that advantage to your stealth checks if you choose to make any.
Even our farts are silent.
but deadly.
But deadly.
As we're also perceiving what's going on in this room, I'm curious. There's like logs and shit jutting out of the walls, sort of like a beaver dam, like you described earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Any logs protruding in such a manner that we might be able to climb to the ceiling?
There are 5 load-bearing columns essentially built out of these timbers, kind of
Ooh.
randomly scattered throughout this big chamber.
Cool.
Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
No.
Bringing down the house.
Maybe we should chop them down and have the cavern fall.
I think Red would definitely be able to climb these without too much trouble, but everyone else is either going to have to have some sort of rope to assist them, or else you're going to have to make some serious climb checks.
I don't know,
So-
guys. Climbing's never really been my strong suit. I mean,
No, but we could bring
can.
down the floor above us if we blew all these pillars.
now that's an interesting idea.
Do they look load-bearing enough that if we knock them out, they
oh,
could
they're
potentially-
load bearing. So yes.
I mean, but
by definition,
stupid things.
yeah.
So there's also the option where we sneak around the north corner here and go
Right.
out the tunnel on the far side. And
This is true.
I don't know if it looks like there's maybe a ramp over on the west edge of this.
Yeah.
Um,
And almost immediately as soon as I asked if we could climb up, I'm thinking, why would we? Is the other question that came to mind. So maybe there was a silly question on my part. Sorry.
why climb when you can levitate?
we want to stick with the original plan, which was get as close to this chief as we can, trying to kill her or take this conch from her, and then, deal with plan B. Red thinks about plan A, doesn't worry about the follow-through. Just get to number 1, and then the rest will work itself out.
Plan A, type A, very rare.
Yes.
So as you stand in like the entryway to this huge cavern, the walls of the room shake with the sound of a giant voice from above.
Chief God want food. She sounds a lot like that Moog.
And as you stand there, you see a figure emerging from the murky darkness of the room that leads off to the west.
Wow.
Oh, like coming into the cavern?
Yes, so this huge hulking form, a male giant you can see now clearly,
Ooh.
Male giant.
emerges from this other tunnel on the opposite side of the room and starts plodding down the ramp that leads down into this cavern. And as you watch, you can clearly see, even those of you with zero pig experience can see that these pigs are terrified and they start squee running away.
Now, me with a lot of pig experience, do I get to see something else? A little bit more.
Why don't you roll a nature check for me?
Can I roll with pig experience?
You can roll with pig advantage.
Thank you. Gonna eat me. That's a natural one.
Oh, no.
my
It goes
God.
wee all the way
The
home.
pigs are playing hard to get.
Good one,
You
Rob.
can milk them.
Oh boy.
Rob, I'd like to give you inspiration for your adorable wee
nice.
all the way home
Nice.
joke.
We need.
This was the first roll.
Very red.
I don't know if I should shame this. I don't want to shame it just yet.
You're
Just
done.
a
It's
little.
done.
Natural one
Just
on a pig roll. I mean, that's not the
It's a
low
pig
stakes.
roll.
Low
You just finished saying how you want to shame
I know.
more dice.
Shut up. Shut up, Zolkan. No, I
knowledge.
think I'm going to keep it for
Redemption?
a little longer. I think if it's a one
You
on
are
attack,
so attached. You can't even you literally just said, I'm going to
Push
fuck
over.
these dice to hell with them. First roll's a 1 and you're holding on to it for shame on the die, for shame
I
on the
know.
corrupt system, for shame, for shame.
defund the
For
die.
shame on the die holder.
All right, should I shame it? Fine. Fuck
Shame,
it.
shame,
Shame,
shame.
shame, for
Shame.
shame.
Shame pressured.
Shame.
There is always more die. And
don't
you can always
really
release him
agree.
later after he's
You're right.
done his
Of course.
time.
I'm good by a whole set that matched it too.
On a pig roll. On
Now
a
we're good.
pig
All right.
roll.
I still got Christopher. That wasn't Christopher anyway.
So this male hill giant wanders in to this huge cavern. He's carrying a hand axe that's looks just very small in his hand. He's actually covered head to toe in blood.
Oof.
And he chases down a couple of pigs and just grabs them by their legs. And he slams one of them against the wall and just kills it in one strike. And the other one is just...
Like Gollum with a fish. Just
Yeah. The other one's just screaming in his hands, and he drags both of these pigs back into the room that he came from, this westernmost room. And you hear the thud of metal on wood, and then the pig stops screaming.
What are the Ettins and the other folks in this room doing?
Good question.
You see the bugbears kind of stay out of the giant's way. The Etten sort of does like a, hey man, head nod.
But attention is all
Like
on.
a cool guy head nod.
to us.
Like-
No, to the giant as he comes
Hey,
in.
guys.
Hey guys.
But they're clearly all paying attention to this giant.
Yeah, I mean, the bugbears are trying hard not to pay attention in that way that, subordinates do.
This is a perfect distraction. We got to move.
All right.
Where are we going?
Let's get to that first north wall.
Are you sure?
Okay.
If we've only got seconds, they're all looking at that giant.
Let's do it right now.
He's taking way more attention than us. Go.
And the pigs, look, the pigs are all wild and scattered.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Let's do this.
So we're going to hug the northern wall here, and then we're going to, I guess, move up to that river. And how fast is the water rushing?
It's not a fast river whatsoever.
And it doesn't look too deep?
Yeah, you're going to have to wade through it, though. It is kind of deep.
So it looks like...
It's like 15 feet across.
Are there barricades or anything keeping these pigs in?
There are some wooden fences to prevent the pigs from wandering around in the tunnels.
The fences are keeping us out.
Like, you guys are going to have to jump a fence that's about 5 feet tall to move on into the cavern.
Stealthily.
Yeah.
Doot,
So
doot.
we'll hop the fence and
Doot,
we'll
doot,
cross
doot,
the river
doot,
and we'll head
doot, doot.
towards the north exit.
Wow, 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 wow,
Do,
wow,
do,
wow.
do, 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 do.
Yeah.
You gotta move.
I kind of...
Someone else is distracted.
I almost hear in the back of my head the dooboo dooboo doo doot.
Oh, yeah.
Point.
Dooboo dooboo doo doot.
The underground. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we hug the wall and we head towards the north entrance.
Who is going first? Are you guys keeping a party
Doran.
order?
Always
Doran going
Doran.
first?
Yeah, always
Doran.
during.
In fact, I pushed Doran ahead. Doran, good luck.
I think Kraloth will take the back this time, just because there's enemies that could potentially sneak up on us. And I don't want them getting the drop on Jack or Red. or
And I don't
Kira.
like the look of those pigs. And Red eyes the pigs nervously.
It's okay. Come on, buddy. It's okay.
Everyone roll a stealth check for me.
Okay.
Remember, +10 to your roll because of Pass Without Trace.
Oh, that's very good that we're adding +10 because
Yes.
Yeah.
Roly Poly just rolled a onesie dunsie.
Oh, come
Oh,
on. The
no.
first 2 rolls are ones?
Thanks, Adam.
For shame. Adam Frey, that was the worst.
I got a 22.
I also got a 22.
Okay.
I got a 20.
So that makes me 11.
And you know what? Actually, let me take the lead. I want to do a little peek around the corner rather than let Doran go first. See what I see first. I'm a little bit stealthier.
He's a peeking fox.
I'm going to do a little peeksy weeksy. I'm going to use my right eye, not my left.
You know, while you're doing that, I'd just like to make a social commentary that I wish humans, I wish we could say that humans treated pigs better, but I hate to say it, we probably don't.
No.
You know, with the whole smashing of heads.
Yeah.
But we're
it's
trying.
Terrible, but
We're trying to be better, and these giants aren't.
I'm trying.
That's why they deserve to die.
That's right. Recognition is the first step, right?
So the 5 of you, I'm including Kieran in this. The 5 of you stealthily enter this huge dark cavern, make your way over the fence, wade through this disgusting river, over another fence. You almost trip over a pig or 2 on your way, but luckily, you are quiet enough and you stay just to the perimeters of the room such that you don't seem to have attracted the attention of any of the main cavern's occupants. So this big giant comes, grabs the pigs, blah, 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 and you manage to get into the entrance of this new tunnel without alerting anyone. However, Red, as you stand at the entrance of this tunnel, looking into the next cavern, you see that it contains a bugbear who is standing around pretty close to where you are, maybe 20 feet off. And he's bored. He's just looking at some cages that are on the east side of this room. The cages are illuminated by this guttering torch that's attached to the cavern wall.
Good word, buttering.
Guttering.
Buttering. Butter torches. You don't like the
Buttering and
butter
guttering.
torches on the wall.
Paints it with a glowy yellow warm light. Just
I was like,
melts
I've
across
never
the
heard
room.
that term
It
before.
is.
What's better than the butter torches, other than I can't believe they're not butter torches?
It creates an image, buttery. Ooh.
Just say buttering.
And Red, before you pull your head back around the corner to where your teammates are waiting eagerly for your assessment of the situation, you see that there is a prisoner in one of the cages.
Red pulls back with his back against the stone wall, and he looks to Kraloth, and he gives him the hand signals that we've so become used to. And he pulls one finger up, and he pulls 2 fingers up. The old 1, 2. He does that little eye pointy signal and then points into the room. And I'm kind of hoping that between Kraloth and I, we can do the old 1, 2, whereas we can make a surprise round only last 1 round if we do this well.
And Doran sees this and he turns to Jack. He says,
What?
"They're using hand motions. It seems they're going to do a combat maneuver."
Yeah, whereas Doran does meaningful glances,
Yeah.
Red does meaningful hand gestures.
Notice how I can see it, though.
Immediately, Kraloth rubs his hands together a little bit. He reaches into his one of his pouches on his hip, and he pulls out a little bit of ash, and he rubs it on his hands as he steps out behind Red so he can get a view on this bugbear, very slowly just angling around. And with a muttered breath to Kelimvor, I cast Path to the Grave on this creature.
Everybody roll initiative.
Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum.
Natural 20 on Liferless.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Well done.
So that's a
boom.
19
That's a
for
19.
you.
Whoa.
It's the most tragic
Well,
combination.
How perfect is
but-
this? Because I got an 18.
Oh,
Beautiful.
amazing.
I got a
So-
22.
Hey,
Okay.
For sake, Rob.
Not to tear all that from you.
Doran, what'd you get?
A 4.
Oh.
Roly Poly is not working out well. Adam,
He's not going to last long in this world.
you might be
Doran's
getting this
still-
dice earlier than later.
Doran's still giving meaningful glances to Jack.
Yeah, he's still not
Meaningful.
understanding.
So meaningful.
Are we still doing this?
Most meaningful.
Winks.
I think they're doing combat gestures.
He winks like Henry winks, where he's like
Both eyes.
blinking with both eyes painfully.
All right, Jack, you're top of the round. Did you want to act at all in the surprise round before your friend Kraloth?
I would like to act before Doran.
Okay, so Jack, you drop below in initiative order,
Physically, he lies down.
lies down on the ground in the pig shit.
No.
Yes.
Doran whips this to Jack. Get up, Jack. Stop lying in the dirt.
But he does so in meaningful glances only.
Jack casts message to be like, Doran, we can just talk. We don't need to. Why are you whispering?
Right.
I've got magic. It solves all the problems.
Wow.
Kraloth, you wanted to cast Path to the Grave?
So it's cursed. This creature is cursed, and there's nothing it can do about it.
Cursed by Kellamvor.
Yeah.
You see the creature's ears lie low along its skull, and it's like, huh? It feels
Got a bad
cursed.
feeling about this.
Red, what do you do?
And what's the curse do? Disadvantage?
No,
things?
so the
Double
next
damage.
attack against it does double damage.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Here we go. I'm going to step out, aim my bow. I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark as a bonus action, and then I'm going to attack with a sharpshooter penalty.
Does it see you? Like, do you make eye contact?
Yeah, it sees you guys. It's like, oh, shit.
It sees the red in Red's eyes as like my eyebrow raises and I let the arrow loose with a 21.
Yeah, you hit.
Whoa.
Yeah, that'll do it.
This is for all the beans, guys, because if you injure it, it's going to have a chance to just scream an alarm. But if you kill it in one shot,
Mm-hmm.
These long pauses are killing me.
You ready?
Okay.
I'm not.
60 damage.
What? Jesus Christ. What?
Oh, it's a
Whoa.
new record.
Kellamvor.
How do you feel
He's
about-
done it. He's topped his
how do you feel
own.
about double killing it?
Wow.
Yeah. So, and just to express that, because it's plus 10 because I took the
awesome.
penalty, I rolled max on my damage, but this is also still a humanoid. It's my favorite enemy. So I do naturally plus 7 damage.
Holy
So
brilliant.
The arrow sings through silently. It goes directly through the center of its head where the thick skull is, but it is fired with such force and the creature is cursed in such a way that the arrow just sings clean through as its eyes still lock with Red's. They just slowly drift back into its head and it falls over lifeless and silently.
Silently, yes.
And Red ducks back into cover and he's like, all right, let's go. Like,
Oh my God. That's like
that was the most damage I think we've done entire campaign.
I think that's a record. It's a
Wow.
record.
It's not bad.
It's not bad, the wizard says.
No,
Wizard's
not
just
bad.
like, just
That's
you
all
wait.
right.
Just you wait.
To one enemy? That's all
He's
right.
lying on in the fucking mud.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Doran stands up. He's like, so wait, what was it? It was a bugbear?
Are we going to attack?
Shh. Darn. Shh.
I feel like we move into the room and Doran just sort of following the pull of everybody enters and doesn't even realize what just happened between Kraloth and
Yeah.
And we move towards the prisoner in the cage with a
Okay.
finger over our lips. Now, there's another exit to this room. So I think instinctively Red would also run to that edge and just do a quick perception to make sure that we're not walking into a room that might have other people entering momentarily.
And maybe Doran stays back towards the door that we just came through, like the entranceway that we just came through, to kind of do the opposite of what Red's doing, opposite end.
While I'm passing, I say, yeah, that's what we call the old one, too. We've done it before, but this is the first time we did it in stealth, and
Yeah, brother.
it worked out pretty good.
Red's just got like a fist raised, like
Yeah. Doran gives a fist bump to both of you.
he gets in our fist bump. We bump our fist, and a little dwarven fist comes up between us.
With a gauntlet.
Stolen.
Wants to be involved so bad.
Good job. I have to say that's impressive. I've never seen archery quite like that in my life.
Well, thank you.
So the 5 of you, after you dispatch this bugbear silently, exchange words of congratulations to each other.
Silently.
And then
In
rush
silent fist
quietly
bumps.
and with meaningful glances. And then you run into this dimly lit room with the 2 cages. Red, you said that you wanted to proceed just a little bit ahead of everyone to look into the western room that leads off of this one.
Yeah.
Red, you sneak up to this cavern entrance and you look into the western room. It's like an adjoining room. It's a little bit bigger than the one that you're standing in right now. It's also dimly lit by this buttery, guttering torch. There are 3 cages in this room, and it is also guarded by a bugbear. The bugbear is very similar to the one that you just murdered lately. It's looking out into the big cavern, and it's picking its nails with a dagger.
Wow.
So again, I turn to the others and through meaningful hand gestures, I just let them know that there's another bugbear there, and then I'm going to keep my eyes, pointing to my eyes, on them,
Yeah.
pointing to the room.
You're about 40 feet away, and as you duck back into the cavern that you and your friends are in, you lose sight of the bugbear.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have line of sight on you right now.
No, I'm just going to use my keen senses to keep an eye for it. In fact, I might even slip into primeval awareness and just sort of keep an eye on it as the other guys go about this.
Sure.
What, sort of like in case it comes back towards the entrance of this?
Yeah, I just don't want to get attacked.
Okay.
Jack's gonna go over to the prisoner, see what's up over there. What's the prisoner look like when we see them?
He's a half elf. He looks very dirty. He looks like he's been beat up probably a day ago. He's definitely conscious, and he's holding the bars, looking out eagerly at you as you approach, but he's not saying anything. He's making meaningful glances with you.
That's our thing. Tell him to stop.
So much.
I will message with magic, so I'll speak silently into my orb, and it carries whispers to this elf, but there's no one else who can hear us. In Elven, I'll whisper to him, "We're the Nightstone 4. We're here to save you."
Fuck yeah, that's awesome.
Who are you?
I'm Galvin Dragonmore of Golden Fields.
Oh, we were just from there.
For real? That's amazing.
Yeah, we fended off a hill giant attack there. It's part of how we got here. How many more prisoners are there?
I'm not sure. They've been eating some of us.
Oh.
I know that there's some children in the other room because sometimes they're crying.
Ask them if they need a Kleenex. They sound plugged up.
This is just my fucking voice, okay?
I got no problem with you, Galvin. Is there an obvious way? Like, if I investigate the cage, can I find a way to like get it open from the outside? Does a real complex lock? What's going on here?
It's a combination lock. 4 letters. HI blank blank.
Ooh.
LL. Final answer.
Hill giant. That's what we are.
That's a great question, Rob. These wooden cages they have doors on the top of them, and there are heavy rocks placed on top of these doors.
Got it.
So it's definitely a hill giant type of cage.
The bane of every wizard. Strength tests.
You'd have to climb up on top of the cage and then heft this huge rock off of the top of the cage onto the ground to free the prisoner.
So the bars are wood.
Yes, wooden cages.
How heavy can you levitate objects?
Or move earth or whatever.
Mold earth.
The floors of this cavern, though, are packed earth. So do with that as you will.
So I can choose a portion of dirt or stone that fits within a 5-foot cube and instantaneously excavate it, moving it along the ground and deposit it up to 5 feet away.
I mean, that'll do it right there.
Yeah, so it's just a movement of my hand, a flick of the wrist, and a 5-foot like hole halfway spanning underneath this thing is dug out for this thing to scoop.
Nice.
And you were asking me if I thought this cantrip would ever be useful. Come on, Rob.
It's a cantrip.
good.
It's a
Yeah,
cantrip.
not even a second
Wow.
thought. I am an excavator from way back.
I'm imagining that he's picking a 5-foot cube that's like underneath one of the corners of the cage so that the prisoner would be able to slip out through like
exactly.
a
Just to
hole without
pull that
the whole
5-foot
cage tipping or moving at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
smart.
Let's
Well
go.
done, Rob.
So this dude stands before you. He like heaves himself up out of the hole, brushes himself off, and he looks around the cavern like he's ready to go. He's still not saying a word to any of you.
So Kraloth moves forward, kneels down next to the body of the bugbear, and begins to check it for any gear or extra information.
Mm-hmm. He's carrying a morning star. He's got 4 javelins with him.
Hey, Doran. And I hold up the javelins and just kind of gesture with
You
them.
nod over to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I nod. Yeah.
And I throw them at you.
Take 1d4 damage.
You're a pincushion now.
I dodge them.
Squeeze!
No, I put them into my beer holders.
And Red, seeing this, he just sort of says to Kraloth, maybe move the bugbear body too.
Smart.
And Kraloth sees the big hole that's formed up below the crate, and he just drags
Tidy
it,
burial.
drops it in there.
And then
Yeah.
he just puts the earth back down
A
on it.
wave of the hand buries him under the ground.
I mean, that's kind of the best cantrip for hiding bodies.
If
Like, for real.
Really
like, we don't
is.
ever have to worry
We stumbled
about
onto that.
ever being found.
Grave cleric's best friend.
I was
is-
going to say Grave Cleric's best friend. Perfect. So when all is said and done in this room, the bugbear corpse is, fairly well hidden underneath this hole. It's clear if you were to examine it, if you're investigating this cage, like trying to figure out where the prisoner went, you'd probably see that there was some newly turned earth, but
That worked out well.
damn, guys.
Doran turns to Jack and he sees Jack kind of release the prisoner and he sees the prisoner's anxiety to leave. But Doran kind of signals to Jack. And what I'm trying to get across with my gestures and whispers is that prisoner can't leave the same way we came in because there's a giant at that exit.
I will magically whisper to Doran, this is Galvin Dragonmere from Goldenfield. I don't know how the hell he's going to get out either.
Okay, but make sure he doesn't just run.
And there's more prisoners anyway, so let's get the others.
That's right.
So here's what I'm thinking. And Red will now come over to everybody and
Yeah.
get in a little group near this other guy and say, hi, there's some more of you prisoners in the other room. I'm thinking this time, let's call the bugbear into this room. Maybe Kraloth, you can say something in Goblin, since we know bugbears speak Goblin. And when he enters the threshold, we'll all take a surprise round and attack.
Galvin is like, does anyone have any spare weapons?
What do you prefer?
I would love a bow if you have one.
How do you feel about this? And I hold out my light crossbow to him.
Oh, yeah, he's so into it.
All right.
Cool.
Fist bump Galvin, and away we go.
All right, so I think we'll hide on the inside of the door. Doran on one side of the door, Kraloth on the other side of the door, Jack and me maybe behind the cage opposite the door because we're more distance fighters.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking luring him here, take him out in one round, and call it a day.
The old 1, 2, 3, 4, eh, Red?
You know what, Doran? I like that. The old Nightstone 4. We all go at once.
What about ABCD?
Jack!
I'm using your Nightstone 4 thing. You're the one that's all horny for it.
I'm into it.
So who is going to try to lure this bugbear into the other room? And what do you say?
I think Justin should.
I nod when Red says that. And I kind of mull to myself what I could say to this creature to get it to come in here.
I would just say something like, I need some help with the prisoner here.
Yeah, the prisoner is mouthing off. Come beat it.
Beat it off?
And I
Come beat it off.
Come beat the prisoner.
I go to the corner and I say,
Remember, you have the Mace of Deception. That gives you
Oh, shit.
advantage on deception.
thank you for that reminder.
That was part of the reason I was like, you should do it. Because otherwise, I mean, Rob could do it.
No, I want to see the Mace of Deception. That's a great... I
That's
want to see how that
what I
flavors
want, yeah.
this. That's
Yeah.
so good.
So I start to mutter a few little incantations and my throat starts to, you guys see my neck begin to glow just very faintly. And then I lean my head over the side. And in Goblin, I say, get over here.
That's it?
Hey, get over here. I need your help. I'm going to roll deception. Okay, so that was actually a 7, so 13.
And you hear back in Goblin, who is this?
Just don't answer. I like you look at Red, and Red's like giving you the hand across the neck. He'll be curious. He'll come here.
Yeah.
We don't need to tell him more. That's all. We only want him to come here.
Watch Clay. That's going to be like, it's me, Dorchester. Don't you remember me?
Don't worry,
We
I'm
had
great at
that big
improv.
one.
It's me.
He starts down a path he can't turn around.
Yeah.
We were roommates in college.
And-
I can't believe you forgot me.
I was the best man at your wedding.
We had that one special night together.
Don't you remember?
I need your help one time after you. You're not going to repay any of the favors I've done for you? No, you don't even
Just
remember me?
guilty.
Hurt.
Oh,
Guilty.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Yeah, no, Red just gives him the like, just don't say
Yeah.
anymore.
And
He's
Kraloth
curious.
is like, his mouth is open, and then he shuts it and nods and waits.
You don't hear anything for a second.
Red is looking at the entrance we came through as well, because I'm pretty sure this is like a roundabout. So Red is in a position where he can be watching both, and I'm just ready for wherever this thing comes from.
Yeah, so you don't hear anything for a minute after that, and then the bugbear steps into view. You can see him through the corridor, but he's not close up. He's like keeping his distance. So he kind of strafes in to look through at the prisoner. He sees that there's no prisoner in the cage. Everyone roll for initiative. All right, everybody, what'd you get for initiative? Harlan?
14.
Justin?
1.
Alex?
5.
And Rob?
Jack's got 16.
Ooh, okay. So some lower rolls here, guys. Jack, you are top of the round. You and Kieran, what do you do?
That's a good question.
Run!
No. All right, I got nothing fancy. We're just going to toll the dead. Jack whispers into his orb of power, and these words reach out with their necrotic energy and try and wrap around this person's throat and pull the life right out of him. So he could make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
That's a natural one.
Hey.
So that's 10 necrotic damage as his throat and face start to rot away.
Well done.
Ooh.
I give you a thumbs up.
Yeah, so he took some damage. He didn't like that very much. He's going to move towards the exit. He's going to say, "Hey, prisoners escaped."
Well, dun, dun,
Well.
dun, 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 dun.
Red, it's your turn.
So the bugbear entered. It didn't see anybody, but it did get damaged.
Correct.
So there's a high possibility that the prisoner is the only person that he could think is in here.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe Red just turns to the prisoner and he's like, "Look, I understand this is not something you want to do right now, but you need to take the fall on this real quick. We can get the rest of your friends out in the other room, but you need to distract him for the moment. If we can arm your other friends, we at least have a fighting chance."
He looks at you and you see fire in his eyes. You see resilience. You see anger at his captors. You see the torment that he's been through. I mean, you don't know him for more than a minute or two, but you can empathize with what it must have been like to be captive down here. You know that he was being kept separate from his other prisoners. The fire in his eyes just burns, and he looks at you and he whispers, "And if I die, so be it. Bring news of me to Goldenfields, to the abbot." And he starts running. He tucks the loaded crossbow under his arm and he makes as if to leave. I'm going to let you act now, but he's like, cool, gotcha.
For Goldenfield.
Good luck, friend. You'll be remembered.
Good luck.
For Goldenfields.
Ah, you fool.
Okay, what do you do with your turn?
For the time being, I'm going to hide behind the cage to the north. I'm assuming there's some prisoner cages in here.
Yeah, so there are 3 prisoner cages in the western version of this room. All of them are occupied.
Okay, does the cage to the north provide any sort of cover, or is it pretty clear to see through?
The slats of wood are thick. You can certainly gain some cover behind them.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to hide behind one of those cages and I'm going to sort of try to usher the others towards me in hopes that this can obscure us for the time being.
Okay.
And I motion for the others to come around me.
Okay, it's Dragon Moore's turn. He
Good luck.
runs down the way that you came through the southern corridor.
You'll never catch me! Come and find me!
All right, Doran, what do you do?
Doran decides to hide right behind Red.
Kraloth.
I'm just going to defend. I don't think that there's much that I can do right now, so I'll just kind of hunker down and watch the Southern Passage, watch Galvin's escape.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Cool.
Defending.
Defend away. Jack, it's your turn.
He's going to move closer to Red, and I think if the plan is let's wait and see what happens, I think he's going to be ready to wait and see what happens. Certainly if anybody comes close with hostile intent, he's got a spell ready, but other than that, he's ready to see what Galvin does.
All right, cool. We got some bugbear turns.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have 2 options here, team. We can let the other prisoners go, or perhaps use this as a distraction to slip into that west exit of this main room. Ultimately, depending on where Galvin's running to, it could use as the same benefit as the giant entering this room in the first place. Give us an opportunity.
But it seems to me that the west entrance would be passing by where all the bugbears kind of already were. What if we quickly release the prisoners and use them as a distraction?
We can't just send prisoners to their death if they're unwilling. If they want to fight, then they're welcome to fight. Who is in the cage that's closest to us? Can I get a look at that form?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a male figure in the cage that is closest to you. It's about 30 feet away.
You could tell he's a male because it's huge schlong.
He's got a giant dick. It's almost like they imprisoned a giant dick with a human attached.
I didn't know I was in prison.
Tell me more about this dick.
I just
So Richard actually is his name.
Wink. Jack is probably the person who's most interested in this form.
What is that supposed to mean?
No, it's because this is a tribal warrior. Looks like probably elk tribe to you.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Elk.
Yeah, judging by the furs and adornments.
Shit.
Yep. So this is probably barbarian.
Show him your fork.
We're just going to have to sit tight and see what happens and go from there. But I like the idea of freeing the prisoners, but is that Elk Tribe?
Yeah, one of the Uthgard.
Great eyes, Kraloth.
Yeah.
You're really tuned into the cultures around here.
You mentioned them before.
Aren't the Uthgard enemies to us?
Well, the wolf tribe we ran into was, and we'd seen the... Well, they were just vicious. The thunder beasts, we found a
True.
box that they made 100 years ago. And I got a spoon from the elks. A fork, sorry.
Well, regardless, the enemy to my enemy is my friend, right?
Red, it's your turn.
I'm just going to do perception because we actually haven't checked out this room or these adjoining rooms. I'm going to use Christopher.
Sure.
Christopher Ryan Evans!
Not bad, Christopher.
CRE, yeah.
3.
That is a dirty 20.
Nice.
Okay, so apart from noticing the very distinct form of this Uthgard barbarian in the northernmost cage, other 2 cages contain humans. The one in the, I guess, the middle cage is a bedraggled-looking old human woman whose once fine garments are now soiled.
Not to be confused with bedazzled.
Bejeweled?
She's got a big heart on her jean jacket.
They were bedazzled, but now they're bedraggled.
Bedazzled to bedraggled. Runes to Riches, the new show.
She's just staring at you with these big dark eyes. And then the other cage, the southernmost cage, has got 4 human
Children.
farmers, it looks like, in them. So there's 2 kids.
Oh, man.
And there's a mom and a dad, basically. And they're all just kind of waiting to see what happens. The 2 parents are kind of keeping their kids quiet and still right now.
I want to move over to the cage and I'm going to ask this barbarian if he's heard anything from the bugbears that could be advantageous, because these are the people who have been in the belly of the beast for the longest. And ultimately, if information is of use, they're the ones that might have it. And I'll lean down and I'll say, hey, we're here. We're trying to help. We might be able to let you out in a moment, but is there anything you can tell us about these prisoners or the guards? Anything that could be advantageous to us?
The giants respect size. I've noticed that. Most of all, the biggest ones are the ones that get the most attention, so I don't know. They really don't. They're not afraid of you. They're not afraid of me, no matter how fierce you are.
It's only size.
That's the most important thing.
Okay, anything else?
This one's gonna be trouble.
He points at the woman, the older woman who's in a cage by herself, and she's like, "Shut up, you."
Why? Tell me, quick.
He just like spits on the ground.
She's like, don't listen to anything that he says. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'm not talking to you, lady. And I look back to the barbarian and I say, why would she be trouble?
Her kind don't understand what's going on here.
Oh, so this is just like a movie of the week. And I turn to both of them and say, look, guys, you're both prisoners right now. You need to work together to get out of here alive, okay? Can you put aside your differences for a moment?
She's like, release me right now. I'll scream.
What? Well, who does that? And I look back to the barbarian like, get a load of this girl. Who does that?
She stands up now. She's like,
I demand it.
And I'm like, listen.
She
lady,
stomps her foot.
Okay, I've just used my entire turn to get here and talk to the barbarian. Even if I wanted to, I can't get over this. So just take a fucking chill pill.
She's like, okay, cool.
And I look to Jack and I sort of signal him over.
It's Doran's turn.
I know,
next.
but I'm just doing that because Jack is the one who knows the most about
Yeah,
barbarians.
totally.
And obviously will tell us if this guy is more likely to be trusted
He's
or not.
unarmed, but his muscles suggest that wouldn't really be
Your
much of a
muscles
hindrance.
seem like you'd wield a long sword. So I mean, I'm now leaning towards maybe fight. So just based on that interaction.
Okay, Doran.
Doran's going to take a different approach. He sees Red run across the room and interact with one of the prisoners, but decides that instead of doing that, his skills are better suited towards preparing for what could potentially be battle. And so he moves into the room and sort of flanks the other entrance.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, good thinking. That's a good preparedness. If
That's
someone comes in.
actually very smart.
That's what dwarves do.
That's what Doran does.
That's what Doran does.
All right, Kraloth, what do you do?
So Kraloth is going to cast guidance on himself.
Okay.
Just a little mutter, get a little shiver up his spine. Ooh. And he's going to take just one step.
Just one step.
And he's going to step around the corner so that he's blocking the northern entrance between these two rooms and watching the eastern room where we met Galvin.
Good call.
All right.
in case someone comes in there.
So Galvin is going to move 30 feet. It takes him a double movement to get over that wooden fence because it's like difficult terrain. Kraloth, you see Galvin disappear around the corner and then you hear a scream of pain.
No, Galvin, no. He should have just kept running.
I don't think we need to get Galvin. I think he fired at the end.
Yeah.
Can I see his red?
Jack, it's your turn.
Jack walks kind of into the middle of the room. With a wave of his hand, the ground beside Red just moves until there's a passageway for this barbarian to climb out of the cage, and he's walking across the room towards the other cages to open them up.
Okay.
Galvin Dragonmoor is giving his life to give us a chance to do something, to live for the rest of this, so we better fall in line, shut up, and we're going to get out of this alive.
Red's emotional. He's like, are you just talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the prisoners. I'm talking to everybody in... Yeah.
Red's like hurt. He's like scolded. I'm trying.
Roll persuasion.
Can I help him? Because I was also part of
And I'm not very good at it.
this whole motivation between these two things. And he's not very good at it.
Sure. Yeah. So roll with advantage, Rob.
And me too, because I'm looking back and nodding.
Hey, 17 plus 1 is 18. What Red said is right, is what I start with, actually.
Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. So the barbarian nods as you excavate this hole underneath the corner of his cage.
And I'm going to send Kieran over to go take a look at just to go hang out with the family and the kids for a minute. Just, I don't know. It seems like that's...
Aw.
Pet the kitty. They like eat it. They're so hungry. They're like, no.
Okay. Red, it's your turn.
So the barbarian now is free, potentially. He hasn't walked out yet, but he's free.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just do an insight on him real quick? I want to make sure that we're not
Sure.
siding with somebody who's going to eat our faces.
Face eater!
And that's a 15.
Face eater.
Cool. Similar to Dragonmoor, you would think that this dude is like pretty into fighting alongside you to gain his own freedom. What his motivations are outside of that are not really clear to you right now, but he seems friendly as he hops down into the hole.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. And I'll just say, glad you're with us, friend. And I kind of give him one of those cool fantasy handshakes where I grab his elbow and he grabs mine.
Does not know what that is.
Well, I don't either. I'm kind of just doing it off of seeing people in town that are like better adventurers. Like every once in a while we're in a town and you see like a group of level 20 adventurers walking by and they're like really decked out and they do these handshakes.
It's a really Waterdavian thing.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. And so I just try to mimic it.
He actually as you pull him out of the hole, he bites the skin on his palm a little bit, such that it's bleeding, and he wipes him on his face and then wipes it on your face too, and then just gets in this ready stance.
Nice. And I nod and I'm like, gross. I know that the creature in the other room dropped a morning star. I don't want to give him a new weapon because he's just going to fucking die. I'm sure Galvin's dying in the next room. So I'm going to sort of nod to Kraloth, who's watching that room, to maybe grab the morning star and hook the barbarian up with it on his turn. Then I'm going to just turn towards this woman and get a read on her, I guess. She's cackling away like an asshole. I don't know what her deal is. She looks witchy.
She's not cackling so much. She's just an old lady.
But she's clearly not in line with this barbarian.
Swallowed a fly, and I don't know why.
Perhaps she'll die.
Yeah, I'm going to walk over to her.
She's pissed off that you're helping this hill person
Right.
above helping the lady, obviously the more well-born.
Yeah, and I'll walk over and I'll sort of in a soft way just say, look, I understand, but at this point, it's either eat or get out of here. It's not eat or be eaten.
Delicious giant.
Yeah.
At this point, we need to work together or you're going to be the next meal of some creature upstairs.
You think that I don't understand that fact more than any of you?
Are you seriously giving me attitude right now? Look at me. Look at my eyes. Look at my hand gestures. I'm trying to help you, lady. Come on, let's get on the same page. And I reach a hand through.
Dare you?
What do you mean, what do you mean, how dare you? I'm just saying, let's get on the same page.
And at this point, Doran looks over his shoulder and gives this look. It's seriously?
So can I do an insight roll on her?
Yeah, totally.
And that's a 17.
You recognize her.
Oh.
You knocked over a statue of her.
It took me a second. I've seen a statue of her.
You knocked it over and it exploded.
shit.
It's Humprat.
Oh, shit.
And I point at her face. I'm like, you're Humprat, aren't you?
Excuse me?
Hammerat.
doesn't matter. And I look towards Jack and Doran. I'm like, we can't let her leave.
Jack's whole fucking face just falls.
Yeah. Jack is now on the clearly kill this woman page, right?
Oh, man, it's a tough call now.
God damn.
Wow.
This just made it so much more difficult.
Wait till Kraloth turns the corner with the shield from her wall.
Yeah. And the
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
mace.
Doran, with his memory, is looking around going, what statue?
I have my finger in her face through the bars. I'm like, 1 second. And I just like turn to the others and give like a shrug and like a,
She just crosses her arms over her chest and she's like, I guess I'll just wait here.
I mean, what the fuck? Thalis, she's in prison. Thalis, she's a monster, isn't she?
She's summoning demons to this realm. She's summoning demons to this realm.
Yeah,
We don't
good
have time to
shout.
debate this.
No, we don't.
Yeah. No, we
So
don't.
I'm going to leave her in the cage for now. I'm going to ready my bow and aim it at the door while I'm waiting, I guess.
Okay, cool. So you're still behind the cage that holds Duchess Violet Hamperat.
Ugh.
And you get your bow out.
Yeah.
Okay, Doran, what do you do?
Doran looks back and gives a glance to the barbarian and motions for him to join him on the other side of the doorway. So if Doran's flanking the east side of the southern doorway, he's motioning for the barbarian to come down and join him and flank the west side of the southern doorway.
Okay, cool.
As soon as he does that motion, he moves into a little bit more of the doorway, taking now only half cover. And I would like to peek around the corner.
Cool. Roll a stealth check for me, Doran.
That is a pretty pitiful 6.
Oof.
Okay. So you can see like a little pie shape into the next room.
Yeah.
But you're not able to spot any aggressors. You see some pigs playing around in the muddy stream.
Okay.
They seem pretty unbothered by the commotion.
Good.
And as you peek around the corner, you drop something out of your bag.
I actually drop a javelin, and that's when I pick up the javelin off the ground and I toss it across to kind of where the barbarian is heading, so that's his weapon.
So the barbarian picks up the javelin that you sort of tossed / rolled over to him, but you make quite a bit of noise as you do so. Kraloth, what do you do?
I just want to see. There's a bugbear just on the other side of the fence there, and I'm wondering, how is it acting right now?
Yeah, so you kind of have a bit of a view down into the big cavern through the first room that you guys entered with the 2 cages. And you were able to see a couple of bugbears and also the Etten pass from west to east across this cavern opening. And as you look at the scene, you can see the bugbear sort of like stop moving and they're starting to look around the room again.
So Kraloth is just going to defend, and he's going to like turn around, gesture to Red, and he's going to give the signal that incoming danger.
Jack, it's your turn. You see this bugbear as well.
Does he look injured at all?
Nope.
I'm going to grease up that entrance. That's the plan.
All right.
Slick grease covers the ground in a 10-foot square centered on a point within range, which is within 60 feet. So Jack's standing there. He looks over towards Red. Red's just like, that's the Hamperat lady. That immediately he's a little crestfallen. He sort of nods to Kieran to do his best to climb into the cage with the kids and the family so they know we're not leaving them. We got somebody we care about there too.
Oh, that's nice.
And then with a snap of his fingers, he's putting out a square of grease on the entrance in front of Doran and the barbarian to sort of give us a little bit of a cover. Hey, friend, if we're going to die together, what's your name?
Grudd Haug.
All right, Grudd Haug, let's do this.
You hear the movement of your enemies in the other rooms, the bugbears and the squealing of pigs echo in your ears. You hear loud footsteps of the Etten. They're closing in.
Oh, God, why make a noise at this time? Thank you to our great Old One Patreon supporters, Adam Frey, Kellen Holman, and Christopher Ryan Evans for making it so possible to do this. We love it. See you next week.
We died together.
I mean, preferably not, but if we have to, I at least want to know your name.